Hey guys, here with another Road to Masters. I'm gonna try something where I'm gonna try to force Fast 9 here. This is not something I suggest you do, but for learning purposes, I think it is important. I think people think, oh, it's a reroll meta, we're really stuck in it. Obviously, we'll play what we play here. It's really important to play what you're given here, but I'm gonna try as best as possible to show you guys how to Fast 9. I think this is like a really important thing that you can do. The good news about Fast 9, in my opinion, is it's almost always one of the best comps. You can put the most gold on your board, and if the 5 costs are good units, which most of the time in most sets they are, that's something that you can play around, right? That's something that if you have a good early game, the key thing about Fast 9 is that you have a good early game, and playing solid TFT always involves playing a good early game. So speaking of good early games here, we really want to hold on to the pairs and the pairs that make sense on our board. With Cloak, you know, we think about tank items. It's really ambiguous, but it could be anything. This lesser dupe means that we're not going to get much more gold here. In fact, I don't think we're going to get any more gold here. I'm not sure I'm the biggest Gnar believer, but he does make sense with these items. I wonder if it would make sense to hold these instead, hoping for a Gnar 2. We'll see. We did want to play around our Bastion pair more, and then Meeple connected. As soon as the bow drop, I saw Kraken here. So the key thing is always with the early game, I think early game is so important. You hold what you're closest to. Here I was Aatrox pair, and I'm one away from Gnar 2, right? In theory. So, and my items tell me something different. I could have held the Lysandra pair, but I'm not sure that that is always going to be fruitful. It can be, but we never know what this third component is going to be. We kind of have to go based off of what we have. Oops, we missed Mordekaiser 2. That would have been really good, but I didn't know that that was going to happen, right? There's lots of possible options. I think for me here, I held 2 Bastion, 2 Sniper. I think people get it kind of confused here. We just want a good front line, good back line, and I was thinking about Kraken, and then this dropped, and now I'm thinking about Gargoyles. I think for me here, the strongest thing would probably be to get an Anvil and then complete an item and make Gargoyles here. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Pandora's is always good, but it's a bit too slow. It reads a bit more reroll for me. Aatrox does make a ton of sense here. I think it'd be really fun to play. We have good components. We have a lesser Nico. So maybe, you know what, for the purposes of the video, I do want to just Fast 9 here. Sorry, I don't think we got my strongest board on here. I don't think we got my strongest board on here. Had I know... Okay, we would have had rerolls, but it's okay. We really want to force Fast 9 here. We're not a reroll type of person. Maybe we don't know if that Aatrox augment is good. I, in fact, have no idea if it's good. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be good at all. But I will say I will play my spot that was half Titans, half BT, or full Titans BT. It would be very reasonable to play Aatrox from there, but let's say I really wanted to force this. We still have the lesser dupe, and that's something to consider, but I didn't play my strongest board last turn. I'm not sure, but I did level and kind of just jam for an Ezreal. I don't know if the level was really worth it, all things considered. I think we should be thinking about reroll line with 6 rerolls, but we might just use these very iteratively. I'm not sure if we can win streak here. Totally not sure if we can win streak here. All I know is that I'm playing a pretty strong board, and I will continue to try to play a strong board. Slightly magical roll here. I think component anvil would have been pretty nice here, to be totally honest. I think it would have made more sense, but slightly magical roll in general gives you something above average. All the magical rolls, slightly magical rolls, call to chaos, they give you something about above average, but it's just random, so you have to play around it. So I'm always looking for upside, so that's why I'm quite keen on taking this, to be totally honest. And the good news is we have a lesser dupe and 6 rerolls. We can kind of find good units to play around here. And we can use this lesser dupe to tempo quite a bit. You could think about using this lesser dupe here. I just don't think it's super fruitful. I, in fact, think we want to hold my next in here, and let's see if we need to level. I'm looking around. Bonk, not that strong. Patience is a virtue, not very strong. I'm also not very strong, just for what it's worth, just because I took an augment that obviously has deferred power. I am waiting for my power to come online here, but we'll see how it ends up going, right? If I use my rolls, now it's not deferred power, right? I think people want to save this for whatever comp they're playing, but we can play the game very naturally, very intuitively, very iteratively. I think people think Flex TFT is dead. I think the endgame boards are not very flexible. I totally agree with that, but at the same time, I think where you express skill, where where, like, the difference between, people always ask me, what's the difference between platinum and diamond, diamond and masters, masters and GM, blah, blah, blah. It's, can you get from point A to point B? Everyone knows the point B. Everyone can go on, you know, whatever, metatft.com, tftacademy.com, and click on those sites. Oh, wow, this is exceptionally good. We get to hand choose our components. Rod gives us Rage Blade for if we want to play towards Vex. Gives me a slam now. I don't think Void Staff's very good. Teemo would be nice. I think Teemo 2 is probably a better Rage Blade user. Sorry, maybe I didn't read this. Let's reread this. Anytime you would gain a component anvil instead. So it's component buffet. That sounds really good to me. Yeah, that sounds really good to me. We do need to find some Rage Blade user. Talon is not going to be the best one. And it doesn't even give us a rod. So that makes us actually, oh, okay, great. So the rod that came attached actually becomes a component as well. So I think we do want to think about strongest board here. We do have a Talon too. I don't want to keep rolling. In fact, let's add a rogue. I don't know why I didn't do that, but I really want to make a Talon item here. Rage Blade is not a Talon item. I don't think we need to slam here. We have 5 units. We have better item slams. You never need to slam. You never need to slam. I think GS is something that is maybe not so good on my board now, but generally pretty good. Oh, we do win, right? I'm going to stay confident in my fight judging ability here. Maybe it's just hubris or yeah. Right, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we could Nico this girl, Poppy, if we wanted to, but I kind of want to see a future here more so than anything. I really want to see a future. When I say future, I need my board to be strong, not just this turn, but I need it to be strong for multiple turns. So I'm really worried about this person in particular. I think they are quite scary. If we're going to be completely honest, I think they're quite scary. Winning this would be actually very important. So we absolutely do need a position for them. I'm not sure how to position for them any better. We're playing a patience level 4 player now, so we don't need to slam here. We're gonna get better components, but you know, the reason to never slam here is what if I get a double Gnar shop? It'll be, I'll have to make different items for Talon that I want to make for Gnar. So if you never need to slam, it just reduces your flexibility, honestly. And slamming items really restricts you. It does restrict you in what comps you want to play, what items you want to play, all that good stuff. And I'm keeping a bunch of Rage Blade potential users as well. So this was the aforementioned Gnar. We're not really forced to play anything in particular mid-game if we're playing Fast 9. All we need to know is that we're playing for like Vex or Graves, and Blitz is a good unit, and really you just want good items for your units, but they're pretty flexible other than Vex, who needs a Rage Blade. And honestly, you don't even need to play around Vex, in my opinion, but Vex is very nice and stable, so I think we will try to play around them. I don't know if I'm going to be a greedy guy here. We got a lot of components here. I'm okay to play around the Talon for a very long time, is kind of my opinion. So in my opinion here, we're going to be looking for as good of items as possible here. I'm looking for an Edge of Night for my guy mostly. I think Kraken can't be that bad here. Edge of Night, and then what are we looking for? I guess Rage Blade would be nice. QS could be nice. Oh god, I overpumped and can't click. We're gonna slam another component here. I think this can go on Fiora. This is a bit stronger now. Wow, I overpumped and then didn't add a real unit. So that is definitely my bad. I am trying to play around this Talon. I'm not sure if Kraken was really the strongest board here. So I think I could reevaluate on what could have been stronger, because I'm trying to play this Talon for a very long time. The good news is that the gold doesn't overpump. The bad news is that I think I would have lost to this player had everything gone right here. I think that could have been a big problem here. Yeah, we could use our free rolls here as well, given that we're missing so many units. Recon Bob, I'm pretty happy with my board right now. I know we could upgrade it quite a bit. We do have the lesser dupe, so we can make something happen out of this, but I think in general it's better to take a real combat augment whenever possible. This looks pretty good on my current board. On just generally it looks pretty good, I would say, but Exiles is also pretty acceptable. Size matters, not good right now. I want to take power now. Wow, they took makeshift. Makeshift is really strong. Group hug, probably not that good. So we have Miss Nar, which is quite a bit. I probably should be rolling here a bit more aggressively to find a better unit than Talon. The problem is my items ended up being quite weird, I will say. They ended up being quite weird. I didn't position for everyone here, so I think this is my bad. I only positioned for my most important matchup, thinking that other people weren't that strong, but this guy is incredibly strong. They have Briar 2 with BIS, so they should be quite strong, in my opinion. But we do have the double proccing Edge of Night here with Talon, which is a really good synergy. Yeah, if you know what your units do, it just becomes a lot easier to manipulate your game and your mid game and make strong boards. Edge of Night on Talon's really good because he can just bleed out everyone while watching the world burn with his 2 D-aggros. Yeah. We could use our rolls more aggressively here. I'm thinking about holding Timebreaker. You know, Rogue is going to be stronger here, so we should definitely do that. I don't know if 4 Rogue is stronger. My intuition tells me 4 Rogue is actually a bit stronger here. To be totally honest, I do think it makes a lot of sense. I want to keep the Jax just in case we do hit Jax too. Sorry, we definitely need to use my Twin Guardian. You know, I think I could dig here for just 1 upgrade. I think it wouldn't be unreasonable here. They have a really strong board. In my opinion, they have a very strong board. So they have a Nami, natural 4 cost, sorry. And then they have Makeshift on their whole team, which doesn't have Makeshift. So their board should be incredibly strong. I was hoping to get my Talon to be, you know, strong here, but this looked like it was a roll diff, so I probably should have rolled here, to be honest, and just made modest improvements to my board. I think it would be pretty reasonable. These rolls, like I said, I'm down in augments here. Yeah, that's really bad to be down in augments here if I don't roll and try to find some 2 stars, and we see that it is a diff, right? Divine Refund, you just get more components here. I think red buff is very chill. Good item on my board, and we really don't need more components in my opinion here. But that does give you more components, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Here, if we just played them around earlier, or if I did this, we could have Gwen 2 here. Obviously, if you roll now, you do lose a bit of gold from buying the units, but the units go on your board, so it's not like the gold is wasted. I think people think gold is wasted. Oh, if I don't make this, how am I going to make it to 9? You can just sell your units. It costs 1 gold to make, obviously, but otherwise it's pretty normal. Oh wow. What do we get, Varus? Yeah. So I think here, oh right, the components. Well, this is a pretty easy. Now that I would imagine we just Nico this and call it a day. I wonder if we're supposed to move items over. I think Rageblade makes sense. It doesn't make perfect sense on my board. Kaisa is an AD caster, so we don't really love this, but we're gonna just 3-item 1 dude here. I could Edge of Night someone else, but I think we're just gonna play solid here. So obviously this board, I think Kaisa's an AD caster, so this isn't the best combination, but I do think 9 gold, which is Kaisa, is better than 3 gold here. The synergy is maybe not that good, but Kaisa's an absolute beast. And she's not a caster, but, you know, this abstractly is frequency. This abstractly is mana, right? She's still a caster. She still uses it. And this is a bit of AD in the other thing. So overall, it's not that bad. Not ideal, but yeah, it should be able to get us to 9 is kind of my hope here. I think there's an argument for this or this, but I think Talon 2 is kind of crazy. We have crits here for my rogue. That's really good. We have a bunch of AD already, and we have a bunch of attack speed and AD from here. We need a way to crit or multiply. Any damage amp on my board would be really good as well, like Voyager, things like that. So we are going to be forcing the 9 comp. I don't think I have it on this account, but basically, you know, we said TFT is a game of paths, so don't get it twisted. Like, I'm not going to flex this board all too much. There are some flex units, but the really simple one is just, in fact, I'll simplify this. We don't need to do this. Graves, Jin, Blitz pairs with Nunu. That's kind of your front line. There's Shen as well. And Ross needs to go on the board. I'm personally not going to miss 5 costs, so yeah. You only buy Graves if you have items for him. Honestly, Graves doesn't go too much on this board just because Fiora does and Vex does, and we won't have so many items. I think the big thing for this comp is that you want TG. We have so many 5 costs, but we can't itemize them all. It's really hard to even get 3-item Vex. Believe it or not, here we actually have 2 Fiora items is how I see Kraken. I know Kraken isn't the best Fiora item, but it's definitely good enough. And honestly, she does like raw ID and she attacks pretty fast. It's not bad on her, and we're gonna have Akali running on the board, so we don't need like IE on her. Edge of Night is just key on a lot of melee carries. That is a unit we're gonna be running. But yeah, hopefully you see that we could be I'm gonna hold the Brawler Flex frontline. I think the main thing we're looking for here are gloves. I think we're gonna hold the Time Breaker as well. I think we really want to hold Time Breakers in general on this roll down. I said I really want to find TGs here. TGs are really good. It's actually good on my current board as well. I think Talon is fantastic with it. We have 1 Vex item, 2 Fiora items, a tank item. So we do need a ton more items here. Let's hold on to the Time Breakers. Time Breakers are always really, really good here. I wonder if this is stronger right now. We do need Frontline. Frontline is a real thing in this comp, so I'm going to go with that. And we can't seem to find any other item here. Can't seem to find any other item here. What would make sense? Guard is pretty flexible. Striker's Flail is pretty flexible. You can play this on anything. 2 good components here. In my opinion, two very, very good components. This is anti-heal component, and this is half a TG, and we can just make Striker's Flail as well. So this, I was strong during the first 2 stages of the game. I am not planning on rolling on 8. A lot of people, even if I was on streak here, I would always take econ here. It depends on how close we are to 9. We're very far from 9. In my opinion, we're very far from 9. So I think you want to take econ. We could think about reinforcement, but I think Kaisa 2 is as good as any. And this is 40 gold. I think this is pretty interesting. If we had more gold, if we didn't break our streak, I think Big Grab Bag could be interesting because maybe we can make it to 9 and get the best of both worlds. But here, I think we're going to do this. I also think that we should consider starting sacking. If we don't beat anyone right now, it's pretty reasonable, in my opinion, to start sacking and trying to get just as much gold as possible. So I know this looks really, really weird. But this does make sense to me just because we're not planning on winning these rounds. We can save a couple HP, but if I'm the win out person, if I'm the person playing the strongest comp at the end of the day, all I need is 1 HP to make it work. That's all I need is 1 HP. So I scouted my matchups and I just didn't feel like I could beat any of them. So what's the difference between losing a couple more HP here? Maybe I can make a stronger board here and kill a couple more units, but 4 gold. So you can think about it as paying like a couple HP for 4 gold every turn, right? I'm getting 2 rerolls every turn and I need all the gold I can get to 9. I truly need all of it, right? This is good. How's a Maokai 2? That sounds pretty good to me. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds pretty good to me. Quite keen on this. You're probably chill being a Twin Guardian, right? And there's nothing wrong with putting all my units here. We do still want to make a semblance of a board, right? We definitely shouldn't be sacking the whole thing, but I'm playing a reasonable board. I mean, the Maokai came out of nowhere, but I am playing a reasonable board this time, and I could have rolled to have a little bit of safety, right? I could have rolled a little bit just to have a little bit of safety here and make a better board, but I'm saving my goals for the level that I want to play for. I have enough HP here. If I win any round, that's fantastic. I would love to win any round here, but I shouldn't expect to win any round. These people are spending their gold, and I am not. This person actually hasn't spent any of their gold, so in theory, we could beat them. I think people love playing Tom, but Tom gives like 3 gold as well. I'd much rather play Timebreaker, which is 4 gold a turn every time I lose, right? Or 2 gold a turn if I win. If I win, that's awesome as well. This gives TG. I'm already in. I have so many 5 costs to itemize, like we talked about before. TG can never be bad. I do need to get 3 real items on Fiora, 3 real items on Vex, 3 real items on tank. I think we do need to prioritize our tank more so than anything here. So I am a little bit worried, I will say, about my total items. Oh, sorry. I keep forgetting about this anvil thing. This is my first time playing in this galaxy. I honestly could just see an argument. I could just see an argument for just making Sunfire here, trying to get 2 items on tank here. No 2 items here. I don't know. Tier can't be bad if Nunu's my tank. So I'm starting to reconsider how many TGs I actually want here. We didn't find a Sunfire here. So I think it's... I wonder if this is okay. Warmogs is super strong on my current board. Sorry, I'm very indecisive here. I'm definitely being very, very indecisive here. We're still getting our money from our our thingy, time breaker, and from explosive growth. This is not our rounds to win. This is not our time to shine. This is truly not our time to shine. I do want to, I think we're just going to make a Visage. I'm not the biggest fan of this item, durability item on a durability tank on Nunu, but it's definitely good enough right now. And I think we need to simplify our next ones. It probably doesn't make a diff, so I say normally don't slam if it doesn't make a diff, right? But here, you know, I do think we want to simplify a bit. We need to find Vex items. We need to find anti-heal. So I think this wants to be Sunfire if possible, and this item wants to be like Striker's Flail, and then we're gonna have 2-item Vex, 2-item Fiora, which is pretty awkward, to be honest. So I'm not loving my item economy. We do need more items, to be honest, but we'll get them later. Hopefully on 2-star 1 cost we'll be okay for now. I'm wondering if we do our roll down first and then keep our items a bit flexible. Not do our roll down first, sorry. Like keep our item flexible and then see if we need to 3-item my Fiora, or if we 3-item my Vex based off what we hit. I think both are really, really important. And with the TG, now we can buy any of the 5 costs. Even Morgana 2 is pretty reasonable. We also have like Marksman Graves items if you want to think about it like that, but I think we're going to try to play for Vex. In fact, I'm going to just throw things away that aren't a part of the final board just for absolute simplicity's sake. I do think we will have to level. The good news is that we have 28 more gold. How does this look? This looks pretty reasonable. I saw Sunfire and GS in there. And I'm going to roll here. I think Graves to me feels a bit late. So let me toss out everything that doesn't look like it's going to be used. So that's pretty much everything in the kitchen sink here. So TFT, like we mentioned before, is a game of paths. So we haven't used up all our free rolls yet. So now this is making me want to make more. We don't have Shen 2 yet, right? So we don't have the full board. We don't have a TG user yet. We have a Fiora 2. I think I probably want to play around this Fiora 2. At least for now, we can make flexible items. Still need a front line. We have Twin Guardians. So let's put our best 2 units here. Definitely need to keep in mind the Twin Guardian here. Always need anti-heal. I almost want to make 2 real items here, though. I think I might defer the anti-heal, which I know is a bit crazy, but we do need 2 real items. I think it's always important that real items are more effective than anti-heal here. That being said, Nunu with a real item is really good, but I do have almost 2-star 5 costs, and we really do need to itemize them. GS is really good and really flexible, so it sucks we don't have the anti-heal, but there's only like a couple matchups where anti-heal is really important. So I don't know, I could see an argument for anti-heal. I'm pretty sure it's never terribly wrong. We're sitting on 5 pairs. We are going to have to chill. The TG needs to go on Morg or this guy. I think Shen with TG is okay, but in my opinion, not that important. I'm just putting my strongest board here. I think Ross 2 is a very acceptable / good tank. We do need to watch out for this Pike, random Pike. I'm a bit worried about it. Hopefully they're not moving sides here and it'll drag across this way. But we have 2-star front line. We have we don't have 2-star backline with Vex, but we have 2-star DPS here. Our roll down was fairly good, but we had enough gold. We were like, what, 50 gold plus, was it 14 or 16 rerolls? That's like 75 gold on stage on level 9. It's enough to hit a good semblance of the board. So hopefully you see that just by playing a solid early game, I didn't 10 streak. I could have played it better. I could have used my rolls. I think I went over the like logic of that, and I think that's really important. But we also went over the logic of like how we need a fast 9, what item components we're playing for. Oh, this is fantastic. This is absolutely fantastic. We have the Kale Boon as well. I think we're gonna chill. Even if I rolled here and I found a unit, I don't know if I'd want to sell a Shen pair. Probably Shen pair is worth selling, but yeah, for what it's worth, Morgana and Shen are now way less valuable to buy. 2-starring them is good, but 2-starring Vex is far more valuable, just for the reason that we only have so many items. You can only, like, 2-star 5 costs are great, but if you only have items for them, if you only have items for one of them, it doesn't really matter, right? Morg 2, Morg 1, very similar. Shen 2, Shen 1, adding the HP to your board, adding 2 stars to your board is important. But here, if needed, if there was a Vex in this shop, we could sell one of those just because it doesn't really matter. We don't need both of them. Blitzcrank 2 is holding my TG. If I had another TG, if I had Band of Thieves, we'd really think all these upgrades are super important, but the Vex one is highly weighted here. Similarly, if we had flexible items like Fiora and Vex are both very good because I had Edge of Night, Kraken, GS. GS is very flexible, and I could have had 3-item Vex here as well. We are going to want to get a real, and I do mean real Vex item here. I think Hand of Justice Fiora is also acceptable, and then move the GS. Sometimes you don't want to gamble here. We do want to get 3-item Nunu at some point. So Bramble Vest is something to consider, but the lobby is a bit mixed, so I think Adaptive could also be fine here. But I'm going to weigh myself a little bit more towards damage here and hope that I hit the Vex 2, which I do. But yeah, at this point, it's all about optimizing items and making sure that you're not taking unnecessary risk with the anvil pops. I think, again, here, anti-heal is really important. I might be kicking myself for not building anti-heal. There's a Bonk player and there's a Briar player and some Marauder players, so the anti-heal is very relevant. But I'm hoping that real damage items on my real 5-cost carries actually do something. And here, Fiora doesn't need anti-heal. She just does true damage and kills him. So my board is really strong. I do know that I'm playing in a lower rank, but if you play a solid early game, I don't think my early game was anything crazy, right? We just had 2-star Talon, 2-star Aatrox. Like, if that's high roll, then I don't know. I'm a stupid high roller, you know. But this happens in your game certainly as well. You can definitely go to 9, and this is the advantage of playing in lower tempo lobbies, lower elo lobbies. People do end up on great. This board is good. This board is good. Like 2-star Yi, they're playing Marauder, they're playing Brawler Emblem. This board is good. The Primordium board. These are all solid boards for sure. They have Kahuna Huna, like Expeditionist, very high cap. These boards are very good. But the good news is that TFT is a game of paths, so they might not actually have the good board for very long. They might get to the ending, but if they don't play the early game correctly, that's where you can really abuse them, right? That's where you can really abuse a weak tempo lobby and get to 9. So everyone who says I'm stuck in my elo, this is a way for you to get out if you make strong early game boards and play fundamental good TFT. I always try to teach solid fundamental TFT, nothing flashy, no big mechanical roll down. I mean, maybe this one was, but again, I just put the units that I wanted to play in the planner and called it a day. Like, that's truly what I did, right? I have this board exactly. So it doesn't take a genius to just, you know, click on the units that are highlighted. Maybe it takes some like hand-eye coordination, which I'm old, but I'm not that old. I have some hand-eye coordination. I used to be an FPS player, so I have some hand-eye coordination, so it's not that bad. Here we're looking for Morello or Sunfire on Nunu. We could, if there is a TG, I think there's an argument for taking TG here. Yeah, we'll see what we get here. Wow, red buff is really good. Do I have a red buff user? Not really. Anti-heal is looking, it looks kind of important in this matchup, but I just beat them. So I'm going to be a greedy guy. I just had Shen. I'm going to take this and, hey, look, we rolled anti-heal on one of our TGs. It's not so bad. The game's not completely unjust. But we have a 2-star 5 cost. We should be putting items on him. Yes, we can be putting items on Nunu, but, you know, my team is the full carry. It's not just one unit. Obviously, I think 3-iteming 1 unit is very good, but I do think itemizing your 2-star 5 costs are also very valuable as well. So there is a balance here. Crazy I didn't build dpei bis in one of my Road to Masters videos. Normally I'd be heckling at students to do this, but there are exceptions to rules. TFT is about, you know, having heuristics, but playing your spot. It's all about playing what your exact spot is. So I never like when there's like a one answer in TFT or someone says something is absolutely correct. In certain situations, I think something can be absolutely correct. I think in all situations, is that the case? I don't know. Wow, we rolled red buff again with 2 TGs going on. Maybe it's not, I don't know the math behind it, but it's not very unlikely. And more importantly, I think conceptually it's the right idea that I itemize my 2-star 5 cost. I don't know how good Shen is, to be honest. I think if it was Morg 2, I'd be really keen on the TG. With Shen, it kind of varies. He kind of does stuff sometimes, but not all the time. You know, I didn't really know where to put my Fiora, but I'm going to put my Fiora away from their Karma. I'm not that afraid of their Jhin. I just want my Edge of Night to not get procced immediately, because Fiora does kind of just jump in and does whatever she wants sometimes. So it's not always clear to me what we should be doing. But it looks like it's just a stat check. I just have more high quality units on my board, better items on my board. That's all TFT is, and it looks like that's the game. So hopefully you guys see, even in a reroll meta, just by playing solid early game, you can get to 9. I think this is a question I get asked a lot, like how do you get to 9? This is how you get to 9. You take econ on 4-2 and you just play solid TFT from the beginning. TFT is a game of paths. It's a game of paths. It's going from point A to point B. Point B is the easy part. We just have a planner and then we do that. But point A and building to point B is what makes TFT a fun and beautiful game and a dynamic game as well. Thank you guys all for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day.